buddy. How are you? It's me, Jennifer, from Little Metal Foxes, and Simon Dog, also from Little Metal Foxes. There he is. Hi, everybody. And, yeah, hello. How are you? Welcome. Hello. Oh, hi, Michelle. Hi, how are you? Got the Simon Dog here in the studio with me today. He is very excited. One of our friends is, I can hear down the hall, is teaching this evening. AJ Power, who teaches our drawing classes from time to time, is one of Simon's best friends. And Simon's like, oh, I can hear him down there. Let's go play. So anyway, he's very excited to hear AJ. Anyway, hi, welcome everyone. Gonna do some tool tips tonight because it's Tuesday and that's what we like to do. It is Tuesday, January 18th, 2022. So that's when we are right now. And sometimes it can be a little confusing because people will go to our YouTube channel and see what's going on and don't realize that some of the pieces have been done like last year. So, because I talk about classes and things too coming up. But hello and welcome. So tonight I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about some of the wax files and burrs. I'm going to be teaching the wax carving class starting on Wednesday evening, and I just was pulling out some wax files and burrs and just wanted to kind of get them cleaned up a little bit and ready for this week. So if you're interested in taking the wax carving class, we start on Wednesday evening, tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. That is Pacific time. And it's great because we can do wax carving in a small studio. You don't have to have a lot of tools to do it. Basically, if you've got like an X-Acto knife, a file, some sandpaper, you can carve waxes. It doesn't take a whole lot of tools. It's not very expensive to get started doing wax carving. So just if you're interested in doing something like that, it's fun, and you don't have to have a lot of metalworking tools to do it. And there are a lot of casters that are all over the country, depending on where you are, that can actually cast the pieces for you, so you don't actually have to have a lot of casting equipment or anything like that. But yeah, wax carving is kind of fun. You can work sculpturally and reductively. And oh, hi Miguel, how are you? So we were just talking about the wax carving class. So, but yeah, wax carving is kind of a great way to work for people who do like to work sculpturally and like to work with their hands a little bit more and need something that's not quite as rigid as the metal sometimes. But it is a very different media. There are so many waxes that can provide so many different kinds of surfaces and textures and rigidity and plasticity, and it's really kind of interesting when you start looking at a lot of different waxes. But getting started doing that really is very inexpensive, requires very few tools, and probably tools that you have already around you. So it makes it really easy to kind of get started doing it. Then, once it comes back from the caster, you can have them actually finish it to a number of different degrees and or cast it yourself if you have the ability to do that. Some of the things I want to talk about in that wax carving class coming up on Wednesday are, we're going to start with some of the basics, what the waxes are, what they do, how to join them together, how to carve them, and talk about how to do some basic stone setting with it and kind of get the results that you want, what's castable, what's not, because a lot of people want to cast things and don't quite understand what the parameters are for being able to cast objects well. And so anyway, so we'll talk about all that stuff and doing production casting and making molds and all those good things over the next 6 weeks. So that starts Wednesday night. I would love to have you. We have a couple of seats available in there if you want to join us. But tonight's tool tip is about the wax carving files and burrs. One of the things that I like to have, and I have a couple of my oldest starting out burrs and files with me, and I've got 3 of my basic files that I really love to carve with and use, and I have a little box of my burrs that I've got available. But you can actually use, like this one I actually got from a hardware store, and it was $3.09. So you don't have to have any really expensive fancy ones to get started doing this. One of the things that you'll notice about waxes is because they're so soft. they will start to clog a lot of the finer files and tools and burrs. So you can do a couple of things to remove some of that wax. I usually have a nice stiff little brush that works really well for that, and you can get a file card cleaner for the bigger files like this that are real toothy and gritty. They work pretty well. The finer the file though, those file cards are really designed for bigger files and coarser files like these. They work pretty well to get them unclogged, but when you start getting down to some of the finer files, you may have to have a little brass cleaner to do that. But what I like to do is prevent that from happening from the beginning. And a couple of people will do this in different ways. Two tricks that I'll show you tonight, and there's my favorite trick is just using a mold release spray, a silicone mold release spray. And, oh, did you? The micro cleaner, yes. One of my favorite techniques is just to use a little bit of talc or cornstarch, and I usually use this for mold separation as well. But just doing a good brush on your files will do a nice job of providing some resistance for it to clog. So this helps to sort of keep the wax from sticking to the files. The other one that I like to use is this one, just a little bit of Bur Life, and sometimes I'll use this on some of the finer files to kind of lubricate them and give them a little bit of slip, so it keeps them from getting clogged with the wax too easily. And this is great for my harder waxes that I'm doing a little more precision work on for my finishing files on my waxes. So having just a little bit, and this is the liquid Bur Life, that I just put a drop on each side and kind of lube it up before I start working. And then when I'm done at the end of the day, I'll just give this a good scratch brush or stiff brush to clean out any wax that may have gotten jammed in there. And you can kind of do that throughout your working process just to keep it clean. Sometimes I'll have a needle nearby. If I have like a little clog I can just pick out, and that works pretty well. But my favorite way to do that, and I just don't have it with me, I just ran out recently, is using a spray silicone spray release for the molds on my files, because that really just keeps the wax off of it, and you can spray it on real quick and brush it, and that keeps them nice and fresh and lubed, and also keeps them from rusting too. So anyway, that way you can get really good smooth carving done and keep your files from getting all clogged up. So there you go. But you know, that's pretty easy with a lot of the files. If you're using some of the needle files, again, I like using a little bit, just a drop of something like the liquid Bur Life or a little bit of talc, just to keep them kind of dry and to keep them slick from clogging. You can do the same thing with your burrs. So if you've got some burrs that you're using that are a little finer on a little bit softer material, these are pretty toothy, and the burrs that I usually use when I'm wax carving, you can get on Amazon very inexpensive. They are nice big toothy things like that. And these are generally referred to as coarse rotary burrs. You can usually get a set of like 30 for under 15 bucks. And these do a great job of helping you carve wax. And burrs are basically a rotary file. That's it. Burs demystified right there. All you need is a little bit of a little coarse rotary burr and a variety of shapes and sizes for under 30 bucks or for under 15 bucks. Does a great job. And a lot of people are kind of intimidated by burrs because they're not quite sure what shapes to use or how they're used or what shape works best for what. And I'll tell you, these are basically a rotary file. So if you were using needle files, for example, to get a particular shape when you're working a diamond shaped file or a triangle or a little low curve to perform that specific shape you want on metal, you can do the same thing with your burrs. They are basically designed to cut that particular shape that you want. So burr shapes, kind of like file shapes, having a nice little variety works really well. And the coarse ones work great for wax. And these are big toothy things too. So they're not too hard to clean out with a nice stiff brush or just running a needle or even your fingernail because they're that coarse, to just clean them out if they get a little clogged. But again, little drop of Bur Life or a little spritz of silicone mold release does a great job. Yes, this is recorded. I do record it, and it is on our page as well. And if you want to see any of our tooltips, you can also go to our YouTube video site, and all of our tooltips are on the video site. But there's also some additional material there that's just free content, and so you're welcome to check out our YouTube channel as well, because it's all there too, plus more. So, but yeah, real simple things. Like I said, I'm going to be teaching the wax carving class starting on Wednesday, so I'm really excited and like to get my hands into some wax and playing with my files again. I basically started out with just a couple of basic, just a basic wood rasp from the hardware store, inexpensive wax file that was like $8, and just a $15 set of burrs. And that's basically how I started wax carving, that and an X-Acto knife. Little sandpaper, a pair of pantyhose to polish with, and I was, off to the races. I do have a nice little hot tool that I use as well. But yeah, but basically it's not hard, it's not expensive, but it does take some practice like everything else to get good at and to produce models that are worth casting at. So anyway, but yeah, I hope you'll join me on Wednesday for that. Anyway, if you're already carving waxes and you've got some wax tools, wax files, wax burrs that you like to use, and you have some tips on how to keep them clean and rust-free and clog-free, feel free to post them down there in the comments, especially later on so other people can see them, because that is really great, and I would be happy to give you a shout out if you're putting one on there, if you have one that you like as a tip. The other thing that I'd like to have handy is my, and I can't see it right in front of me at the moment, is a pin vise with a needle in it, or some sort of just, sharp tool that I can unclog things with. So that makes it pretty handy, but really simple stuff. So if you've had any clogging problems, a couple of things make it really easy to prevent that from happening. All right, so besides that, what else is coming up? Let me take a look here and see. We've got, there we go. Let's see, let me get the other classes pulled up here so I can tell you what else is coming up here. But I have been asked several times lately when we're going to be doing the production class. The production for jewelry class is going to be coming up after the wax carving class on Wednesdays, starting in March. And that class is going to be designed for people that not necessarily want to start doing, going into full-on production, making, cheap, crappy jewelry just hand over fist. The production for jewelers class is really designed to kind of, one, demystify what production is, what that means, because it is a kind of a way of thinking about working. It's kind of a philosophy about that. It's working smarter, not harder with things, looking for the tools and equipment and making jigs and things that make your work easier for what you like to do, and finding ways to distill down the kind of work that you're doing into something that can be at a lower price point for people so that you can make it more easily for yourself and provide a broader range of things for customers, perhaps, and just, again, sort of working smarter and not harder. But it's also about the technical stuff, some tips and tricks on working, on producing things on a different level. So if you're working on, one thing at a time, can you do more at a time and make more money in less time? So it's all about that kind of profit as well. It also is about the philosophy of that, how do you keep it fresh? How do you make the work you want to make and not get burned out by doing a lot of it? So if you're doing production stuff, what kinds of things can you do? So we'll talk about, your inspiration, how do you keep going, how do you get it done less expensive, how do you, make more in less time. So there's a lot of things we'll cover, but that's going to be the production class after the upcoming casting class. Hello, hi, how are you? So let's see, we've got, let me tell you what else is coming up here, because we've got lots of things. Where are you? Here we go. But I was hoping, again, Julia was going to join me tonight because she's always a lot of fun. And she just taught the file class this weekend, and Files Demystified, and that is a brilliant class if you haven't had that, because she's so good at telling you, it's like a 9-page handout on all the things that files are, how to properly put on a handle and all that. So that was a great class. I sat on that for the second time, and that was awesome. So if you have a chance to do one of Julia's classes, highly recommend it. Her saw class is very similar, so she's got a sawing and piercing class coming up. That is going to be awesome. Let's see. I don't want that one. I want, let's see. Boxes.com. Let's see. Here we go. Classes. Let me tell you what's coming up. So yeah, waxes and waxes for jewelers is coming up. Oh, the engraving techniques with the Lion Punch Forge is coming up this weekend. So I'll be joined with like Chris Anderson from Lion Punch Forge, who is the inventor, maker of the tool. It is distributed by Peppy Tools, and we love Peppy Tools. And you actually can get a discount with Peppy Tools in Rio as a Little Metal Fox student, which is kind of nice. They honor a nice discount for Lion Punch Forge, Peppy Tools, and Rio. So the engraving class, it's going to be basic engraving with this tool, a little bit more information about hand pieces and how they work with a flex shaft, how to do textures and some basic engraving. Hi, Kyle. And so that's going to be a good class if you want to join us then. Etch in a Bag is coming up on the 26th. So if you want to do some etching for things like decorating your surfaces or doing roller mill plates that you can use in your rolling mill, Julia's going to be teaching that on Saturday, February 26th from 2 to 4. And basically it's really cool because it's in a little bag. And so she shows you how to etch in a bag without all of the big messy equipment that sometimes you get into with like an etching studio. So keep it contained, keep it small, and you can do real simple etching. She's going to be doing Sawing and Piercing Demystified on March 5th. And if you're interested in making your own tools, if you're interested in working on things like cleaning up the face of tools, hi Karen, and doing a bunch of other like wonderful things with steel, she's going to be doing Make Your Mark stamps and punches on March 13th. And a lot of people want to be able to make their own stamps for a lot of reasons, and just being able to clean up your stamps is really kind of nice. But being able to do patterns and repeated images and to put your mark on your own pieces as well, and show you how to temper the steel and how to work and grind and file and shape those pieces to make stamps and tools successfully. So that is on March 13th. And then Filework Rings is on the March 13th or 19th and 20th. She's also going to be doing granulation coming up, and we've got Chris from Lion Punch Forge is going to be doing a resurface, refurbish, and renew your hammers. He's going to be doing a refacing, resurfacing, and replenishing your hammer class coming up too, so that will be awesome. Chris is amazing. He does a number of tool restorations and is amazing at working with those tools, so we asked him if he would do a tool refacing class for us for hammers and things, because I know everybody gets overwhelmed with like, now my hammer's all messed up, what do I do? How do I get it shiny and beautiful again? So he's awesome. So Chris is going to be doing that in March. We do have some beginner classes coming up. In fact, hi there, Beetroot. Yes, Julia has the a couple of the beginning classes that she's going to be doing coming up is the Sawing and Piercing Demystified. So that's going to be a great class to take to learn how to use the jeweler's saw, to be able to sort of start into the jewelry studio with one of the most basic tools, the jeweler's saw, and that's going to be on March 5th. So that would be a great one to take as a beginner. And there's also a file work class coming up. Well, it's a weekend workshop using just your files to create patterns and shapes on metal. So that's going to be good in March as well. So yeah, check those out. We also have a couple of classes that haven't gotten quite posted yet, I think, but the oh yeah, the production for jewelers class is going to start in March and run through April, and that should be, she hasn't launched that live, but that'll be live later on today. So I hope you'll join us for that. But yes, thanks so much, everybody. And if you have any questions about wax files and wax tools and things like that, give us a shout, or join us on Wednesday for the wax carving class. And it's 6 weeks from 6 to 8 on Wednesday evenings Pacific time, 6 to 8 Wednesday Pacific times. And yes, Michelle, but you don't have the dates yet. Oh yes, and Michelle is going to be doing a filigree class as well. So Lyreworks, yes, please, is going to be doing a filigree class probably later this spring, I'm guessing. And so we're going to get the dates locked down for you as well, Michelle. So we're looking forward to doing that. That'll be exciting, and I can't wait to see that. So yeah, if you have any questions, give us a shout. Little Metal Fox, info at littlemetalfoxes.com, and check out our website. And again, check out all of our tips and tricks on our YouTube channel, or here on Instagram on our videos. So we have them all here, but there's extra free content on the YouTube channel, so be sure to check it out. Yeah, we need to chat logistics. Let's do it. We can do that later on this evening if you're free. Just a yes, we'll do. So yeah, if you want to FaceTime, we could do that, or Zoom. Get a Zoom call, a little logistics. All right, so real simple tools, real simple way to sort of keep them clean and clog free, and yeah, you can do that. All right, yay, let's do that. All right, everybody, have a great night. We will see you later, and we'll do Tuesday tool tip next week. And if you have something that you would like us to tool tip on, give us a shout, direct message us if you have any suggestions as to things that you would like to see a tool tip on. Yeah. All right, you all have a great week, and we will see you later. Bye, my babies.